Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together to talk about nerd shit. Your weekly podcast where you get to tune in and say, hey, I've got three other friends, and those three friends are me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me is...
Miguel Sanchez.
And Deadpool.
Look, we're going to keep this a quick episode. We're going to talk about The Flash, and then we're going to talk about two trailers, in and out, bada boom. Let's dive right into it. Before we talk about The Flash, let's talk about the trailers. Let's talk about Spider-Man's biggest nemesis. When you think of Spider-Man's villain, what do you think of?
Yeah, Kraven the Hunter, right?
Yes.
Is that the correct answer?
Kraven the Hunter. I can't believe we're having a movie about this bozo here. We have a trailer, and man, oh man, thoughts.
Miguel,
here we are again. Just another Sony Spider-Verse movie that, here it is.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. It feels like an early, early 2000s. It feels like Catwoman, right? Like that Catwoman movie where she becomes Catwoman because she gets bit. He becomes Kraven the Hunter because he gets bit by a lion.
Is that how that happens?
I don't think that's how it happens. I feel like...
Is that just how we do it now? Like, you gotta get bit by the thing you are?
Yeah. We're going to see Batman getting bit by a bunch of bats. We're going to have Blue Beetle being bit by a bunch of Blue Beetles. And if you're Kraven the Hunter, you're getting...
That kind of happens in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah. It looks pretty bad. Not excited for it. And it looks like kind of what they threw at us with Morbius, so...
I mean, come on. It's now... That's like the caliber of film we can expect now. You know what I mean? Like, let's just get a couple of these out, and we'll have like a monster mash of Sony movie characters, and maybe it'll be good at the end. I don't know. They've really been pushing this like Sinister Six
for a long time,
like 10 years now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And every few years they're like, oh, never mind, not that one. It's actually this Sinister Six, and you're like, oh, Kraven.
I love how they didn't even wait for the spoilers for you to go to the movies to get the mid-credit scene, which is the mid-credit scene is you would get Rhino, and here you just get it at the end of this trailer. You're like, okay, no need to wait. Rhino's coming too. Like,
listen,
fuck it.
Just stream it if you can, at least, please.
I'm sure Morbius is going to pop up. Isn't Madam Web coming into this whole thing? Like, it's such like a bizarre, weird situation where the animation is so good with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and then you just have Sony making these superhero movies that just don't work. Like when Disney makes live action movies, it just don't work. Sony's just live action just doesn't work, and it just feels so like disgustingly fill in the blanks kind of situation, and it feels so repetitive, and it feels so, I don't know, man.
Why does every bad guy now is like, thank you?
Sorry,
what did you say about me?
I want to do better about those. Those fucking. All right, why? Every bad guy is now like this anti-hero. You know what I mean? Right. Like whatever they call that, where they're like, "Ooh, they're bad and they're good." You
have your Black Adams. You have your what did we have? This guy. We got Morbius. We got Cruella de Vil. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Come on.
If she wants to round out the Sinister Six, like, let's just do it. I don't care.
Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
Cruella, this plan has nothing to do with Dalmatians. Can we please move on?
Right?
It sounds like her and Kraven would get along great, though.
Kind of, though, right? She would be like, I've got something that can go
Spider-Man.
with that. Yeah. Yeah.
She's going to go around with Tom Holland's face on her face.
Oh.
That's my pitch. Hollywood
That's darker than I expected it to go.
He's already tweeted out, Spider-Man, I'm coming for you, or something like that. Aaron Taylor-Joy's already ready to go.
Please give me a sequel.
Yeah.
That's basically what he's saying.
After one trailer, give me the sequel. Yeah.
Can I say that the little, you're going to roll your eyes, but the little fanboy on me got a little excited because I completely forgot Russell Crowe was in this movie. So when he showed up, I was just like, "Oh, hey, Russell!" I'm just like so happy he's working.
Hey, remember last time we saw him in a superhero movie? He was
last year. I'm not saying it's going to be good, but I'm just like super happy for him. He seems to be having just like a good time doing these silly movies right now. So whatever. I love you, Russell.
The first tweet I saw about this trailer was like, Russell Crowe's doing the perfect Kraven accent right now. Like, why?
He should have been Kraven.
Why is he not Kraven? Old man Kraven.
Maybe that's how the movie ends, you guys. I'm calling it now. Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
I'm actually Kraven.
He dies. Kraven's got some kind of accent, I guess.
I thought that was the accent that he had, the one that Russell Crowe had, and then he comes out.
I mean, don't know much about the character, to be honest.
I don't know either, to be honest.
I guess apart from like that Spider-Man gameplay trailer.
Cannot wait to play that. I'm looking forward to that.
Yes, Ed.
And that was a cool introduction to the character. I really don't know much about him at all. So
See, that's
when you were saying, like,
what a better introduction.
Is he like is he actually Spider-Man's nemesis? Because I always assumed that
he's
was like
one
Green
of
Goblin.
them. Spider-Man's kind of got a really good rogue gallery. He's got a lot. Well, at least 6.
Yeah.
6 plus.
Let's go around the table. Name Spider-Man villains, okay?
Oh,
Mysterio.
I go first, Kingpin.
Shit. All right, you're next, Miguel.
Kraven, Luis.
Venom.
Lizard.
Vulture.
Green Goblin.
Rhino.
Shocker.
Scorpion.
Oh, there you go.
Electro. With Jamie Foxx, right?
Yeah. Doc Ock. Now we're just doing the 6. Let's just get it over with.
What's his name? The Hobgoblin.
Okay.
Sandman.
Did we say Rhino yet?
Yeah, I said Rhino.
Oh, did you? You said Rhino?
I did it. I did it.
You goof. You silly little... Man Spider. Doesn't he have one of those?
I'm sure. You know what I mean? There's Man Bat, there's Man Spider. Yeah,
that's close.
All right, cool. Good job, guys. We did it. We named all the Spider-Man villains.
There's people, honestly, there's people listening going like, I could name a few more. And you should comment at Punch Drunk Nerd.
Is Prowler an official one? Or is that just like the Miles Morales? Like the Spider-Verse movie.
To your point, Ed, you were saying like Kraven in the Spider-Man game is like a good introduction for you. That's how I feel about like Miles Morales and like all of his characters. Like I played the video game and he was in it. I feel like this video game's a good medium. You know what I mean? We learned about these superheroes because I'm not reading all these comics. I went to a comic store the other day. There's like 1 billion comics. You guys know this?
It is. Oh, I know. I go every week.
It's too many. It's too many.
Every other week.
Every week?
I have, dude. Let me take my camera.
Where are we going?
You see those comic store? You see those boxes? You see those 4 boxes?
Yeah.
Full of comics. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, you really just have to pick one line and then go for it. Like you can't just you get overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know. I like this character, and
I'm overwhelmed just thinking about 4 boxes of comics that sit behind your couch.
Tempted to
that
get
I reread
Superman
not
Legacy.
a lot of times. What?
I've been tempted to get Superman Legacy.
That's good. Then you'll be ready for the DC reboot.
Right.
The DC boot.
Have you read that one, Luis?
The Superman Legacy?
Yeah.
I don't know. No, I'm gonna Google it right now. I say yes, and I don't know.
I'm gonna Google it now.
Superman Legacy. The comic? No.
Do you think that's how French people say Google?
Kraven the Hunter's coming out. Be ready for it. It's coming out this year. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Damn. That. You know what? Another one. A Blue Beetle. I keep seeing that trailer, and man, every time I watch it, I'm like, I am not interested in this movie. Every time.
HBO Max.
Stop watching.
Same day streaming.
Stop showing this trailer to me. It is. I am not into it.
The only moment I laugh in that trailer is the stinger where he's like, "Batman's a fascist."
Oh, I hate that line.
Kind of funny.
I don't like that line.
I
don't like the sword.
I crack up every time. See, I hate the sword.
Oh, see, there you go.
The sword is like the one
not for us.
looks visually kind of cool, but that's it. Like,
that was like a cool moment. Oh yeah.
The only part in that trailer I liked is when the beetle sucks to his face for the first time, and then he like gets like horror movie style, like sucked up to the ceiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was like, this is kind of intense.
I like that.
And also, Batman is a fascist, so like I'm not going to hear.
How is he a fascist?
No, he's just not.
Miguel, where is this coming from?
I'll talk about some Batman lines later. It's
okay.
Yeah,
so
we will.
Kraven the Hunter's coming out. Obviously, Blue Beetle's coming out. Madam Web's coming out. All these movies that nobody cares about's coming out. We got another movie coming out called Challengers. Challengers is with starring...
Hang on a second.
Oh, what happened? Oh,
no, I was going to say I'm into this trailer. That's all I was going to say.
I'm gonna pass the baton to you.
No, I'm not ready. I only watched it once.
As the local Challenger fan of the podcast,
that's me.
Challenger head, go for it. The biggest nerd of Challengers.
I'm not gonna read this entire paragraph. It's a Zendaya movie, you guys. Yeah. Zendaya.
I don't know. Honestly, I passed it to you because I didn't want to say.
You want?
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just switch it up about 10 times, and we'll see which one makes
Okay.
Six. Zendaya sounds weird.
Zendaya is so good. You know what I mean?
I don't.
No, I'm into this trailer. This trailer hooked me right away. Like at first it starts. I can't remember how it starts, but all of it, like in the first like 10 seconds, it hits you with that like Rihanna song.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, come on, let's hear this. What's going on? Let me see what's happening in this trailer right now. I wasn't expecting her to be like this like tennis pro, and then I wasn't expecting these like, you know what I mean? It's a very fluid sexual relationship going on in this trailer. And when she's like, I'm just taking care of my 2 little white boys, I was like, Zendaya.
Yes.
Let me see this movie, man. I'm into this, all right? What a fun vibe. And there's 2 points in the trailer where the Rihanna goes, I may be bad, but I'm perfectly good at it. Dude, both those shots were so good, especially the end.
They had with her.
Yeah. Because like the first one, she's like kind of, I don't know, coming to whatever her strengths are. And at the end of it, she's like putting on the glasses like, I am this bitch. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, yes, bitch.
I don't know what the movie's about, but it seems exciting.
Bro, this is one of those trailers where I'm like...
right here.
Man, go ahead.
No, I won't read it up. If I could get a word in. Yeah, but Miguel, this made me think earlier. So this is by Luca Guadagnino, who most recently did Bones and All. And Miguel, I don't think we ever got your thoughts on Bones and All.
I thought I shared it.
I think it was on your list, but I don't think we ever talked about it.
I had a good time. I had a good time watching it. It was definitely like maybe not the best movie in the world, but like conceptually it had like a really good premise. I think the acting was mostly pretty good. And it just had a couple of moments that really like, oh, that's happening right now, you know? Like it was a good time.
Okay.
So I dig it.
Yeah, Luca Guadagnino is an interesting director. He's done some really I don't know, just taken some like I did not expect his next movie was going to be a tennis drama. You know.
Yeah, it looks good. Did you think it looked good, Ed?
Yeah. No, I'm here for it. I thought it was fun. I like both the actors too. I was trying to pull
the dudes.
Up. Yeah. So the dark-haired one, he's most known for, or at least recently, he did The Crown. He was Prince Charles in the previous 2 seasons.
It's a pretty big get.
Okay.
And I think he got some awards for that. And then the other guy was I don't know his name, Mike Feist.
Well, the first guy you called him the dark-haired guy. So
yeah, the first guy is Josh O'Connor. That's an easy one. And then Mike Feist. He was in West Side Story.
I see. I appreciate you taking the moment to do that because when I was watching the trailer, I was like, "It's so nice of Zendaya to like bring these 2 up and comers like into the same realm as her." You know what I mean?
Oh man,
I feel the same way too. Like, who are these people?
Who are them? Yeah,
I still haven't seen Euphoria, so I really don't know the I guess all the fuss about Zendaya or Zendaya.
I think you're gonna.
Not that I don't like her, but I don't think I'm ever going to watch it. It doesn't appeal to me.
Exactly. Because when you do end up watching it, you'll be like, it just doesn't appeal to me. And I'll be like, I kind of get it because there's like a lot of like, what's happening here kind of moments, but you're also like, it's really good. It's good drama.
Right. Sure.
No, sorry, I don't give a fuck. Luis watched that show. It's fine.
I didn't watch Euphoria.
You don't watch Euphoria?
I think I saw like the season finale of episode season 3.
This guy got angry.
Okay. Listen, I'll just say this. I've seen Euphoria. I think it's a lot of fun. I think I talked about it on the early episodes.
You did.
Yeah, I liked it, and I will.
I'm not trying to dog you for liking it.
When they're like, this is the final season, I will watch it, and I will report back. Whatever, I liked it.
I just hit my blind spot. Maybe I'll watch it. You know, like I do.
Maybe don't. I don't give a fuck. It's fine.
Well, a movie we all had to watch was The Flash. Let's talk about The Flash. We had to hold Ed at gunpoint and stay in the theater with him as he watched this movie. Flashpoint. Here we go. Or in the movie The Flash. Let's just talk about it. Let's get into it, right?
Luis, you've been sitting on this movie for so many weeks. I just kind of want to hear your thoughts. You got to see two kind of alternate versions of it.
So, spoilers alert for this whole thing. They cut off the movie right before they showed the reveal of who the Batman was. So that was pretty much like the biggest change. I think everything else stayed pretty much the same. It was just that ending and the mid-credit scene that you got. So, I mean, look, what do I think about this movie? Man, I had fun with this movie. Okay, yes, I liked it. Like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go get a nice burger and have a good time. You know, that's what this movie's all about. We're not trying to win Oscars. We're trying to have fun. And I think a lot of the performances are fun. You know, him trying to like discover himself as becoming the Flash. That's all fun. Him running through the city. Him figuring out how to phase. Him all these like dumb 2000s-esque, like not serious things. Like it's fine and it's fun and that's okay. And I feel like the internet is just coming at this, be like, oh man, critics are like, oh man, I'm ready to take down some superhero shit. Boom, boom, boom. Especially with like Ant-Man and Thor at their like disposal. They're like, okay, now we can just wallop on these superhero movies, and people are finding excuses to do it. The internet's finding it, everybody's finding it. And really, if you just found this movie in 2008, 2007, this would be fine. People have a good time. I had a blast seeing freaking Supergirl, Flash, and the other Flash swinging down and doing that fucking pose. I had goosebumps every time I saw that. I had goosebumps in the trailer. I had goosebumps watching it in the movie.
Can we do that real quick? Let's do that. Boom, ready?
You know what I mean? I was pumped. I was like, let's fucking go. And we had Batman and we had cameos. Like we had Wonder Woman pop up. Like I had cameos that I didn't know was gonna happen. I mean, we'll talk about the cameos later, but like just it felt more lived in than any other like well, except for maybe Birds of Prey, but everything else it didn't feel as lived in as any other movie. You know what I mean? I just liked how and it was dumb. Like they had this whole baby shower sequence where like he's like, my God, a baby shower, and he's saving babies. Like it's so dumb. It's so weird. It makes it fun. And you know, I don't know. I just wanted to have fun this weekend, and I did. And I liked it, and whatever, you know. Miguel,
how was your crowd?
We had a good crowd. That's what I said. We had a good crowd. Everybody was pretty receptive to the movie, and that's all I had to say. But Miguel, I'm gonna pass it to you before.
All right, fair enough.
Before we get a reality check over here.
I know. I am honestly so happy to hear that Luis liked it as much as he did. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Now I feel like, okay, I'm not the only person. I felt like when I left that theater, this is a fun movie. I had a good time. I'm not even sitting here acting like it's the best movie I've ever seen, but it was a lot of fun. I did have to forgive a couple of things. You know what I mean? Like,
there's a whole plot where like, Monkey, you gotta let go, and it's like, okay, I get it. This is gonna be the through line. At the very end, you gotta let go. But you know what? I tell you what. Did I tear up when he said goodbye to his mom? Did I call my mom afterwards? Yes, I did. Did I be listening? Yes, I did. You know what I mean? It's just like those things are so potent. But yes, you could see it, you know, like them feeding this to you as you do it, you know, but whatever. Like, I don't know.
I mean, you sent us like the Rotten Tomato scores of like all the DC movies, you know, total now. And I was kind of surprised to see The Flash so low. And I think that is kind of to what you were saying. Like the internet is really just kind of piling on it right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, what I would say is, you know, just don't let the internet reflect your opinion of it. Like, go see it if you like it. If you don't like it, you know what I mean?
It's just, people have like all this, like this buried, like vengefulness ready to lash out. And this was just like the excuse for people to finally just.
And I get why. I get why. You know what I mean? But I was having a good time. And then let's get to it. Ed, go on.
Sorry, I was trying to pull up that critics poll you had sent us previously. But yeah, I don't think like I could think of enough. Like the fact that here, I just pulled it up. It's at what 66%. Like, yeah, I think it's a lot better than Suicide Squad, God, Justice League, Batman versus it's different.
Okay. Yeah. I feel you right now. I feel you right now.
Anyway, okay. So before you guys just assume that I'm a dick for not liking this movie,
let me tell you why I'm a dick for not liking this movie.
I want to point out how hard I worked.
I knew it.
No, listen.
Yeah.
I forced myself to write only positive things. This is positive things about the movie. All right. Well, fuck my efforts. Here we go.
I feel like I don't want to force your hand. I don't want to force you to like this.
No, because I didn't want to come in just shitting all over it, which I'm not going to. That's not I didn't.
Not right now.
I didn't come away from this movie angry at all. I was just like, I think the biggest problem or reason.
Give it to us. Just give it to us.
No. I think the biggest reason for all the backlash is purely just like. This movie did start getting all of this hype, but it's like soul changing or whatever. As far as
that was a mistake.
It was a huge mistake. Whoever the stupid fuck was that said, "Oh, this movie will make you forget about all the Ezra Miller problems." Just don't say it. It doesn't need to be said. Yeah. It's just like all these things that just continuously built up towards this movie. And I think you're right, Luis. Like as soon as it came out and people started actually seeing it. They were ready to pounce.
Yeah, they were ready to pounce.
Yeah, and I was surprised by some of it. I haven't read like many reviews, honestly, because again, I wanted to just level my expectations. But look, I had a fine time with it. I didn't hate it. I thought I found myself laughing throughout a lot of it.
Hey, that's a win. That's a win.
And not just like
great.
Not
like at it.
Yeah, there's like definitely moments where I was like rolling my eyes, and I've definitely got some criticisms, and I want to discuss. There's another thing that came up recently was the director. I think it was the director talking about the visual effects and how he intended them to be. Right. We'll get into that and stuff, okay. But
yeah.
But yeah, it was. There were things I liked. There were some things I wish there was more of. But it's almost like it was a movie that already realized what it was before it like really took off. So that it's definitely taking some huge leaps that work, don't work. It probably definitely varies to everybody, but they tried whatever, and I would say that it is on the better half of the spectrum for DCEU.
I agree. I think that's good. I like that. Like
because there were some things I definitely connected to, despite my best efforts or whatever. And,
I think far from the worst.
I don't think it's far from the worst. There have definitely been some real clunkers in this franchise alone. But you think about other superhero movies. I don't know. I was. Thor Love and Thunder was a weird relationship because I came out of it thinking I laughed a lot, but I actually didn't like the movie at all.
Didn't like this,
and the more you think about it, the more you're just kind of well, fuck that. And later on I might just be but it's just I'm so over this franchise in the past 10 years. It's it's almost just all right, man, high five, we did it, well done. Let's see what you got next, kind of thing. So yeah, that was a weird random tangent. No, I guess I'm ready to get into details.
I tell you that I feel like we're across the board. We liked, didn't like. Let's talk about something that we for sure didn't like. I have to assume Luis didn't like this as well.
Go for it. Yeah, let me take time, but yeah, go.
Listen, I'm going to jump. The biggest glaring flaw for me was the visual effects in the Speed Force. Okay. You know what I mean? When he was when he was doing the running, and then all of a sudden it was kaleidoscoping around him.
Yeah.
Man, I read the criticisms before I saw the movie, like everyone else did. That the textures looked funny. That's what everyone kept saying. And so I was expecting when he was running through the city, it would be oh yeah, that doesn't look great. But then I was I kind of understand his argument. He's running fast. It's through his perspective. I was oh, okay. I could see how they could maybe flub that. But when it actually came to it and I saw what people were talking about, I was oh, this is It's like PS2 graphics, you know, like their faces and they're like
it was like, distractingly bad at sometimes, you know. You're just like somebody somewhere along the line okayed that in 2023.
They were just like, we don't have time. We just gotta go. We don't have time.
They're just like, do you want to go the Batgirl route or do you want to get a fucking release?
They're like, okay.
So you're gonna use you're gonna use imagery from the draft, you know.
There was a couple times when I was like, why even have Michael Shannon in this movie? You know what I mean? Like, he came back as Zod, and well, I guess we can talk more about that in a little bit. But there was a couple shots where I was like, is he even on set right now? Like, you know,
because it's just that face. Like, you could just have him
the
like
face, and then they put the shield over it, and it's kind of like Iron Man, like Tony's Robert Downey Jr. standing there with like the nothing on. He's basically just wearing like a shirt. Yeah, and you're like, look at him, he's Iron Man, and you're like, oh, this looks great.
Yeah, no, I
think not so much.
I think it would have helped. Like that sentiment or explanation would have made sense if some other VFX were good. Like, you know, that shot of like Supergirl flying, you know, and she's got the cape going. I mean, it's like an airplane shot. We talked about it in the trailer. Where it's like, oh, it doesn't look good, and then you watch the movie, it's like, oh, well, it's still kind of the same.
It doesn't. And I think it's just they didn't change a lot.
I just think overall they just like, it probably wasn't in the budget. They had to stretch their money somehow, and someone just made the call and say, we're done here. You know, we're not going to do it anymore.
We're not investing in this.
But I'll tell you what, though, the flying next to the plane didn't bother me as much as some of the other shots. Like, I think mainly the video game graphics was where I was like, this doesn't look good.
What did you call it earlier? The Speed Force?
The Speed Force.
Yeah. Like, that was when it was at its worst.
Yeah.
I feel like. And like maybe in the final battle too. It was just like, just glaringly obvious. It was like, it was a distraction. And the beginning with the babies was funny at first, but you're just like, oh god.
The babies didn't look that great either.
I was actually, CGI aside,
you were panning into that hospital room, and you weren't even looking the baby's head on. You could but it just had that Sims look, you know. Yeah, I was just like, oh, fuck me. All right,
but that was pretty. I don't know. I did have a good time with the baby.
The moment was funny, but like, you got these babies literally coming down on you on the screen, and you're just like, okay.
Maybe because I was a little inebriated, I wasn't paying attention to the CGI at that moment. I was mainly just like, that's a lot of babiys falling out of a window right now. Like, this is like 9/11 for babies right now. Like, why are they? Yeah, this is yeah. And then he puts the baby in the microwave at one point, and you're like, oh, okay, you're definitely not supposed to do that, Ezra Miller.
No, but I love how it kept building like acid, needles, you know, whatever. Like, it kept like having like it felt like cartoonish in that way.
Now, it was,
you know.
And then, at that point, you have to kind of accept where this movie is going and what it's going to be.
It gets the tone immediately about what we're doing here.
Yeah, and, you know, it kind of like is on and off serious throughout, but like, especially in the action sequences, there's just like, you really just like have to be angry about this movie before you go in, because you're otherwise like you're just gonna hate it, but like even more so. You know what I mean? Like if you could just accept that in that moment, you're just like, okay, this is clearly how the rest of us. It's not like the graphics are suddenly going to be amazing after this.
Better.
They're going to play with this.
While we're in this moment of the movie, can we talk about a couple of things that I did like in this moment? Yeah. I kind of liked how it started with showing you what the Justice League is like in this world, like Alfred calling all of them and being
that's
like,
what I mean.
Hey, are you available? And then like finally he gets the flash and he's like, I'm the first person you're called. He's like, no, you're not the first person I called. I thought that was kind of a good gag.
It feels very lived in, you know?
Yes. Like, oh, I guess I have to, like, I was on my way to work, but now I have to be a superhero. And it was like, okay, that's kind of like the fun of superhero movies, right? Like how it disrupts the life, the ordinary.
Yes. And you have to believe that whole sequence took place whilst that guy was making a sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh, when they cut back to it and he was like, and there's your sandwich. I was like, was that a reshoot? You know what I mean? It was like, was that one of those bits they were like, let's do this? Like, we have everything else, but let's do a bit.
Oh, absolutely. Let's add a little joke here. We're bringing you back.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't make any goddamn sense. But
no, because at the end of it, I was like, well, that was kind of unnecessary. Yeah. But I did enjoy the Justice League premise. And then we did get to see the Justice League, like Batman, Flash, and Wonder Woman shows up.
What a surprise.
That was kind of a surprise for me. I'm sure Ed had it spoiled.
No, that was one I didn't have spoiled, actually.
There you go.
I was did that take you by surprise? I was like, oh, I don't know. I kind of, at this point, I felt warmed up now. I was like, you know what? After all these years, I'm warmed up.
I kept thinking Barry was going to show up in that moment somehow. And then, like, when the lasso tied around him, I was like, oh, okay. All right, cool. And they had, like, a nice fun bit with the lasso.
Yeah, they did.
Well, now hang on a second. I want to come back to that. The second thing, just real quick, the second thing I wanted to talk about in this moment was how much I really enjoyed Batman. I feel like 95% of his moments in this movie, I really enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman.
Okay.
So I haven't liked Ben Affleck's Batman in a bit, and I did like him in this movie.
I had two moments that I really enjoyed for him. I loved the fact that they got rid of that like voice modulator thing on his throat.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he was just doing like gruff Batman. Yeah. I wish they would have been doing that from the beginning. Like, I know they were trying to do something different the first time he came out. Like to Christian Bale's Batman, they were like, we got to do something different. But it just sounded so much more natural for him to be like, I'm Batman. You know what I mean? Yeah. On the bike. And so I really enjoyed most of his dialogue in that scene. And I also thought his action was fun. Like him riding that bike when it explodes and he's all of a sudden kind of like gliding through the air, like almost by accident is just gliding, you know? It just felt like, oh, okay, I'm in this moment. And I liked it and I had a good time. Ed?
I did not like that bit. I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to cut it straight. I thought he looked a little silly.
Let's see you do it.
His Batman, fuck. His bat suit looked a little silly. It had all these like plastic lining to it.
But it wasn't plastic. It was like some sort of like carbonite.
Okay. I'm sure it was like
he was like sliding on concrete unscathed. Okay,
but he just like reminded me of like a bat toy from fucking.
He was a bad toy for sure.
Yeah, it's just like
Did you like how they were like, oh, and he's blue and gray? You guys wanted that, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was like, okay.
They were like, that's all the comic book nerds want is a blue and gray Batman. Well,
they've been asking for it, and look, Keaton has one in his closet, but he won't wear it.
He won't wear it. Yeah. I did like when Michael Shannon was talking about this movie, and he was like, it just feels like you're just playing with action figures, and it's like, okay, I kind of get that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. These are just a bunch of toys running around. And honestly, it takes you back to like the 90s Batman that were just there to sell toys. Okay? So I just harkened back to my youth.
It almost feels like a continuation of the blanking on the director. Who directed
Schumacher?
Joel Schumacher.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say
universe, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The Schumacher
it just had that, minus the like.
They did better about touching on that universe than they did the Burton universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, before we go there,
not just specifically Batman. We're talking about just like universes.
The universe,
the vibe, the
vibe, Ed. Yes, because like, for real. Like when you show up to the Flash's house, like in the past. And it's like, oh yeah, okay, I can see how this is his house. And then in the same universe, he takes a taxi, which is like a Prius, to the Tim Burton Batman castle, and you're like, now hang on a second, this wasn't the vibe, okay? Like,
we're not vibing right now.
This wasn't Gotham. This was Gothic. Like we were there, and now all of a sudden it's like wherever the fucking Desperate Housewives live, and it's. It was so much more modernized.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like more picturesque.
Yeah.
Well, it's a long way from Century City to Gotham. Remember how long it took the Flash to run to Gotham?
Palisades.
He was running for a good like 20 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So shout out to Barry's mum.
Yes.
Maribel Verdú. She's a hottie still. She was in Pan's Labyrinth, and Y tu mama tambien.
Was she the Y tu mama tambien?
And your mama too, yeah. I guess. I don't know actually who that title refers to, but anyway. No, I thought that was like I did not obviously know she was in this movie, but that was a nice surprise. Monkey. She like Shrek.
Yeah. Yes.
Monkey.
No, because every time she talked, I was like, "Oh, okay, like this is a vibe. We're in it." You know what I mean?
And then, what's his name? Ron Livingston from Office Space.
He was the recast.
Right.
He was not the dad originally.
Exactly.
Who was the dad originally?
You know, Ed.
You know him.
He was he was Dr. Manhattan in The Watchmen.
Oh, Billy Crudup.
Crudup. Yeah.
Okay.
He was recast in this one. He said, "I'm not coming back if Zack Snyder's not back."
Oh.
No, I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I'm putting words.
What a hill. But so many have died on. Cool.
But yeah, let's talk about when Flash meets the Flash.
Can I just say, okay, this is going to sound like a complaint, but it's going into a compliment.
What's a compliment?
Once the movie, I found Barry's awkwardness a little jarring at the beginning. I guess I don't have a clear picture of how he was in the previous movies, but
I mean, rewatch a movie every now and then, Ed. Damn.
Oh, man, I really tried to watch Zack Snyder's The Justice League the other day, and I was just like, oh, fuck me, there's 4 hours of this shit. It's a lot just to get to the good stuff, you know what I mean? Anyway, once it like found its pace, and then you get over the initial engagement between the other Barry, and it's like more awkwardness, I found that it really started to work, like the contrast between the two characters. Like you have original universe Barry kind of maturing because he's like seeing himself as a goofball, essentially, a younger kid, obviously. And I thought that worked for the most part.
I came into it going, Luis might like the movie, but Ed'll hate it. But I'm surprised. Ed, you're liking it a little bit.
A little bit, like, yeah. I mean, overall, I think it's a good movie. Did you get? I don't know when I cut out, but
we didn't. You were
right when you were like, I fucking hate this movie. No.
Yeah, no. I just liked their relationship as the story went on. It was a nice contrast between the two. Like, it was a good.
He even has a line where he tells him, like, your humor is abrasive and it's not funny and people don't like it. You know what I mean? And it was like a self-reflection. Like he matured in that moment, you know?
Yeah. And throughout, and there are like good moments like that. Sometimes it doesn't work. Like sometimes it's like too much. But for the most part, yeah, it worked. And I enjoyed that constant back and forth. And then like having the original Barry lose his powers.
Yeah, that was a fun element.
That was like one bit I actually had a good chuckle throughout was good old, physical comedy when they first see Michael Keaton in the kitchen and he keeps getting like knocked out. And it's just like that was a good scene. It was funny. I was like, this is goofy, but this is where we are now. And Michael Keaton with a terrible wig.
I know, hiding his face so that you don't see who the stunt person is.
Just like pushing it to this, But it was a fun moment.
Yeah, I loved I love when they meet. I love when he, like, again, I brought it up when he's phasing down to the bottom room, when he's running around to the city and he's just like having the best time of his life, and then this whole city shuts down. Like that whole thing set. I have a fun time watching it because, of course, Miguel, did you like that part?
I loved it. I was cracking up basically every time they were like, "Isn't this funny?" I was like, yes, it's good. I was vibing that day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I went to Alamo. They serve beer there. I don't know if you guys know this.
AMC serves beer too. I don't know. Does Regal serve beer?
Yeah.
Ed.
Okay.
Ed, they just shut down the Regal near me. By the way.
Good.
Can you believe
I still
that?
haven't finished my local IMAX. It's getting quite frustrating.
And right in time for summer.
Yeah, but like going on 2 years now with the fucking IMAX. Damn. So yeah,
can I tell you guys, can I bring back a theory I had about this movie real quick?
Yeah.
Before the movie came out, I said obviously the other Flash is going to be like reverse Flash.
Right.
Because he's wearing yellow and red or whatever, and I was like, that's reverse Flash colors.
No, it wasn't. Right?
No, he wasn't wearing colors, or
no, he was wearing colors, but it wasn't reverse Flash.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You're jumping ahead of me.
Oh,
That's okay. I was like, no, he was wearing yellow. I had it in my head that he was going to be reverse Flash. But when I was watching this movie, I took down a note that like when he loses his powers, and there's this whole like, is Ezra Miller the actor like a good person or not? I was like, are they about to like make him the original Justice League version Flash? Like, is he about to become Reverse Flash? You know what I mean? Like become the bad guy in his own universe. And I was kind of excited for that for a second. I was like, oh, okay. Like when right at the very beginning, I almost said Barry. Right at the very beginning, he gets punched by Reverse Flash, like in the Speed Force, and I was like, "Oh, is that like him fighting himself, like trying to reverse Flash?" You know what I'm saying?
Right.
There's a lot of timeline talk just now. I know that took me to places that I wasn't expecting to go.
You were doing like Uno with the plot there.
I was like reverse. But I was surprised that neither one of them was really the bad guy. It was like this alternate universe version of him. But I was super into that moment, and we could talk about it later. I liked it. I had a good time. I texted Luis afterwards. I said, great movie. 10 out of 10. Would see again.
I don't think I'll ever see it again. It's objectively not a good movie.
You'll probably see it again because we'll be there. We'll probably make you watch it.
With a gun against my head.
Watch this fucking movie!
Don't
tell me it's not a great movie to blaze to.
And I didn't do that before seeing it because I don't know. I wanted to give it a fair shake.
Right.
And maybe I would have had more fun. I was also asking about your audience earlier because obviously I went on a Tuesday night. So it was just quiet, it was just like, it was a good, like, there's a few people there, but it was just quiet. Right. Crickets. Now, people were laughing at the same parts I was giggling at, so it worked.
Oh, thank God.
But I was alone, so that's always
big. So let's talk about the big thing. I mean, unless you have something to point out, Ed. But let's talk about Michael Keaton. Okay, we were talking about the fight scene. We were talking about the body humor. All that stuff. Michael Keaton. What did y'all think about his return?
I thought he had some of the cooler moments. As far as like maybe the action's concerned, definitely. There were some bits that I thought were stupid. They officially have a bat kite now.
They did, yeah.
To get the lightning.
The lightning scene.
When he whipped that out, I was just like, "Fuck me!" You don't have a metal rod to
they
stick
didn't really
up there.
need to do a bat kite. That was too much.
No, yeah, that was pretty bad. I thought you were talking about like his cape for a second, and I was like, "No, you saw the movie, Ed. You knew he could do that."
Yeah,
I did like
literally flying a kite. I was just like, "Oh boy!"
I wish they would have cut back to him, and he was wearing like a Benjamin Franklin wig and glasses. You know what I mean? Like,
with his Batman eyes, though.
Yeah.
I was just like, how much time did the poor special effects people have to work on that? Just for that gag.
That's the running theme. That's the running theme of 2023.
Wait, the which gag?
The kite. The kite.
Oh, the kite. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, still talking about the kite. I thought those fucking lines from Batman were just shimmied in just for fun. It didn't work. Yeah. But like I said, I thought he did have like one of the better action moments, like when he was sticking the bombs on that guy and like flipping around him.
That was cool.
I was like, oh man, this is like fucking Arkham Asylum right now. Just like
totally.
Get as many bombs as you can and then run and duck and keep spinning. That's how you beat a main bad guy. So
I will say, like, we talked about the trailer in that one shot where he like flies down the silo or whatever. I remember watching that, going like, this does not look good, and I was worried about the action sequences. And although I still did not love that moment in the movie, they were not. The rest of them were not as bad as I was expecting them to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, okay, I could see him moving like this generally, and
I feel like the visuals were just kind of consistently bad throughout, to a point where it's just like, okay,
you bought it. You bought it.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a little distracting at times. Like it felt like every cape was CGI'd in.
Dude, they just CGI capes now. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's just like a
But,
standard thing, and I hate it.
I saw all those pictures from, behind the scenes of what's her name? Kara Zor-El. Kara, right?
Yeah, Kara.
Yeah.
Supergirl.
And, she had a cape behind the scenes too, so I was just like, well, why wouldn't they just use the fucking real thing? But, yeah, so that was odd choice.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. I enjoyed seeing him. I think the biggest thing that every time you notice about him when he's fighting is his neck. Every time you watch him fight, you're always like, okay, is he going to turn that neck? But no, he's still doing the owl move, and it's just like it's really hard to do high, like, kinetic, like, engaging action when you're just constantly, like, especially like modern day John Wick style. Where you're like, when you have to,
when
like,
he
take into account
flips over the Flash at one point to like shield him from bullets.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, that was believable. It was very stiff. It was just like stiff back and roll, stiff back wings. Look great.
But Ed, you're right. That the moment when he's fighting that Kryptonian and using the bombs, I was like, that was beautiful. Yeah. That's bad.
And I want to say I liked what they did with the Batwing.
Yes,
I love the rotating cockpit. I thought that was a really cool element. So yeah, like I said, I felt like he definitely had the better action moments throughout the film.
Aww.
Is that
that makes me happy.
Oh. Yeah, I mean, I said, I worked really hard to come up with the compliments here.
You can't have the Justice League with just two people. You need three. So of course we have to talk about our girl, Supergirl, who's been introduced.
Zor-El.
Yeah, I think she was great. I think
10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, 12 out of 10.
Didn't make any mistakes. Perfect for the role. Let's see her again.
More.
Just wanted more of her. I thought she had the look, but there's not much for her to do in this movie.
That's okay.
And I just wanted more. I feel like she got the same treatment as fucking Henry Cavill. And
if this was like her backdoor pilot, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Softly
I just wish they would treat the
her.
super people with respect.
You know what? I'll say this in this weird transition of a moment for the DCU. You know what I mean? Like, as long as they bring her in and it's favorable,
sure.
Let's explore more in the next one. You know what I mean? Like, let's just get the foot in the door. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit more levity to the character too, but otherwise,
she was a little gloomy.
But she was also locked down for a long time. I'm pretty sure you'd be pretty pissed and dark too.
I'm pissed off at humanity.
Man, that was a great turn. She's like, "Why do I have to care about them? They just imprisoned me for all of like." And I was like, "Oh damn, this is bad. She's going to be against."
Yeah, I mean, obviously she comes around
in the trailers, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's moments like in the trailer again. It's one of those moments that seems so heightened, so emotionally palpable. When she was like, "What did you do?" And
no, don't say it like that, Ed.
What did you do? And you didn't really feel that in the. I mean, I didn't really. I don't know about you guys, but
see, that's crazy. Again, I had been drinking, but I thought that moment was great because I loved how he was like, and I killed that fucking baby. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Superman,
and it's like Superman. You know what I mean? And he's like, I killed him as a baby. I don't care. I just did that. I'm like that. I'm built different. You know what I mean? And I was like, I'm Zod. And so when she was like, "What did you do?" and the lightning comes out of her eyes, I mean the lasers, I was like, okay, I get it. I felt that moment. And that's honestly what I felt watching those moments. I was like worried that, oh man, I'm into this, but am I the only one? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, are people really, or is this silly and I'm just being like silly right now? But I had a great time. I enjoyed that moment.
Yeah,
like I basically loved every time she was on screen.
I didn't expect her even to like get killed. Like I knew bad things were going to happen, but when she first got stabbed, I was like, oh, okay.
I was surprised that they went that way, yeah, with both of those characters, to be honest. I thought it was the stakes were going to remain solely with Barry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I did like that in that regard, and it kind of gave it like a more of an edge. But again, I think my biggest takeaway from this movie was just how bad the visuals were, and it took me out of it so many times because every time they went back into the Flash Force or the Speed Force,
and
they layered all the characters.
That was the worst.
I got the concept. But the visually, cool. It was just
the textures, like you said. That's
exactly, and you're just like, ugh, man. It would have more gravity if you could feel it more. If it was like more, especially realistically imposed.
They have that one line where he like revisits the moment his mom's been killed, and his dad's like, "Call 911," and it just looks like these clay like animation. It just doesn't look good, and these like that moment didn't hit. You know what I mean?
Right.
They look bad.
Like, yeah, it reminded me of some effects from like Star Wars Attack of the Clones. You know,
and that was in 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's memory recall. Yeah.
But beyond that, I want to talk about the step further. With the two cameos that were spoiled for me, one being Nicolas Cage and Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
And I guess the original Supergirl actress who I never watched that one. I assume that was Supergirl from.
And they had the old Superman too, I guess, like the first
George
actor.
Whatever, something George, the guy who killed himself.
Yeah, no, you were spoiled, Miguel. Were you spoiled or no about Nick Cage?
I did have the Christopher Reeve and the Nicolas Cage one spoiled for me on Twitter, and that was hard because like I had to basically dodge everything on Twitter, and those couple of GIFs came up in like random tweets. And I was like, "Oh, what's that from?" And then I was like, "Oh, that has to be from Flash."
Yeah, I also had Clooney spoiled.
Well, we would get to it in a moment. Ed.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm just starting out.
No,
I just want to say that I won the cameo spoil.
Okay, good job.
I was completely shocked by that Nick Cage cameo. I was like, "Are we really, really doing this right now?" You know, this was talked about with Tim Burton, and this is the only realization we could ever get of Tim Burton's, Superman. And I just
wish it was like a physical form, not just some CGI mock-up.
You know, I hear what you're saying, Ed, but it also would have looked bad if it was a regular, just like if Nick Cage was like, and I'm Superman. You know what I mean? It wouldn't look good either. It wouldn't look good.
I mean, at the rate of that this movie was going with its effects, you're probably right. It would have looked like shit.
Thank you.
But also, it would have been him dressed up with a wig and then on strings.
That like weirdly low cut, like why does it go down to like his sternum like that? You know what I mean?
It was the look at the time.
It was a look at the time. And again, this may have been bettered with an audience, like a participating audience. Like I was just like, oh boy, here it comes, and oh boy, that just looks bad. And then Christopher Reeves kind of just made me feel a little weird because it kind of just harkens back to that argument, like we're bringing back people from the dead.
Yep.
And long after, I mean, it's not long after. It's been a while since Christopher Reeves has been dead now. So
I think the thing is, like, you knew the Nick Cage moment was coming up, so when you came up, you were like, "Oh, you were ready to criticize."
Sure,
but when I saw it, I was taken aback. So I was like, "Lead me. Where are we going?" You know what I mean? and it just like showed me this thing. I was like, "Okay," and then it dropped me off at this other point.
Yeah, and definitely that it was spoiled took away from the moment. I think I would have probably enjoyed it more. I guess I'm really just nitpicking at how the final product looked, having known that going into it. So, mixed feelings about all of that, I guess.
And you're right, Ed. George Clooney did show up at the end of this movie.
Yeah,
that was wild.
Who called that? I did in our text message chain. I sent a text to Miguel, and I don't know if I sent it to you, but I was sitting on that, waiting to show you guys. People were saying there's going to be a Batman showing up, and I said, "Well, how crazy would it be if it was fucking George Clooney?"
Who else has no time on their hands right now?
I'm not mad about it. I'm here to say that I didn't really mind the George Clooney.
No, not at all.
No,
I that was a fun one, and he was real. He was physically there.
And you know what? I did not have that spoiled for me like Ed did. Although we did talk about like as a possibility that might happen. But I kind of texted Luis after the movie. I just so clearly remember them shooting that scene where Michael Keaton was on the steps and Supergirl flies in, and that was like they cut to credits or whatever. I remember them filming that on location. I saw all those behind the scenes videos.
They did film it.
And so at the end, I was like, oh, okay, this is when Michael Keaton shows up, and I guess Supergirl's going to be here in a second. And so I was surprised when it was George Clooney, and I was like, oh, okay, we're going that direction with it.
Yeah.
And I was kind of not mad about it. I was like, yeah, he's here. And you know what?
Yeah.
How much money? I don't have the number in front of me, but just like guesstimation, we can put it on the screen later. How much money do you think George Clooney got for doing that?
A couple of mil.
Yeah. $2 million? That's a pretty solid number. At least $2 million.
At least, yeah. I think maybe 2 to 5.
Just like
or some sort of high charity donation. You know what I mean? Like
I can see that. To his customer.
Those are the only two. Yeah. Like he was like, I want money, or I want someone else to get the money.
Right.
Totally.
I think there was. Absolutely. I feel like there was. I heard internal talk that they were still trying to get Christian Bale to come in.
Oh, I'm sure they tried. And he's like, no thanks, I just got off of Thor Love and Thunder and I didn't like it much.
And then mad respect to him. I get that. That. But there was also a time, if you remember, like when they were shooting that originally, that, this Batman is about to be the DC Batman, like in the Justice League universe.
Right.
And so it changed a couple of times before they finally were like, no, we're rebooting it all and it doesn't matter.
They made it clear at that the post-credit scene where it was like, yeah, Batman's like different in every universe, but you're always the same, you know?
Yeah. And so by the time George Clooney came on, I was just like, oh, okay. All right, this means nothing. Nothing means nothing at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, it kind of undercuts, like, all the dramatic development with, like, his dad and stuff. You know, he gets his dad out of prison and all of that, and it's like, oh, well, it's not even his own universe, so fuck it.
Sorry.
It doesn't, like, whoops. So, yeah, but whatever, it doesn't matter, right?
What'd you think about that post-credit scene, Ed?
I texted you guys my thoughts. Like Fast X was the first thing that came to my mind. That's why I completely forgot he was even Aquaman for a brief second. I was just like, oh, fucking Jason Momoa shows up? Oh, right, because he's Aquaman. I actually, because I was so busy texting you guys, I didn't even hear the dialogue, but I got it. They were drunk being silly.
Yeah, that's it. It was kind of dumb. It was just they were being drunk, and that's it.
For a brief moment, I thought like they were
gonna kill Aquaman.
Yeah, in the puddle. That would have been hilarious. Like he's just drunk and he drowns in a puddle because he's in an alternate universe.
Oh, and by the way, Aquaman 2 is not coming out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like slash. Oh, that would have been brilliant. Like 10 out of 10 had they done that, but they fucked it up. So too.
I'm happy. I'm just happy to hear that all three of us seem to have positive things to say.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting everyone to go, that was the best movie ever. But I see the work you put in, and I appreciate you really trying to say nice things.
Thank you. I really didn't want to come into this being like the rest of the internet is being about this movie. And I definitely, like I said, I definitely have my negative thoughts throughout it. It's fine.
Definitely. Of course, it has eye roll.
I do still like this. It's frustrating because when you look back at the DCU as a whole, it just does seem like a wasted opportunity. Like the last 10 years, you're just like, fuck. Why any of it? I wish they had brought back Henry Cavill, if anything, just to pay the guy his dues in this movie, knowing what it was going to be, and the fuck they get Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Batman. Come on. Throw a bone. They could have gotten Brandon Routh instead of Christopher Reeves. I know, it's like Warner Brothers 100th year. It felt like a Space Jam moment. You know what I mean? And I'm referring to the most recent one, whereas
I didn't see that.
I hadn't seen. No, but I've heard.
But
I don't know. But it was, there was some things that obviously they could have done differently, done better, But whatever, I did it. I saw it, and I
finished this talk.
I didn't really plan on seeing it.
And Ed goes, "I didn't even actually see this movie. It's just what I've heard on the internet."
I just wrote down Empire's review.
Hey, 10 out of 10. I'm gonna watch it again.
I'm glad that we got to have a discussion, and I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. A little bit. It wasn't devastating for you, Louise.
No.
I know you've been excited for it. Miguel, wasn't this your most anticipated movie of the year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be the movie event of the summer.
Indeed.
People are going to be coming out,
and then every fucking article is like, "This movie's bombing."
Yeah.
Fuck. All right. I had it as number 3. Okay.
I'm so glad I put it at 5.
And I put Guardians at number 5. I should have bumped Guardians up to fucking just number 1 at this point,
Guardians is still winning, but I think it's going to be overtaken by Across the Spider-Verse in 2 weeks.
Maybe. I mean, in 2 weeks, when does fucking Barbie come out?
A couple of weeks, but Spider-Verse is still making good money, and that's got a broader audience than Barbie right now.
Fair
because
enough.
It's out. It's
And
still got
Barbie's
3
not.
weeks. It's still got 3 weeks to make money.
I just can't believe how fast a movie will go to streaming now, or a VOD. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it depends how successful it is or it isn't successful.
Yeah,
they're like, well, fuck it, we might as well just sell it.
6 months.
Yeah.
James Cameron was like, "Nah, I'm gonna squeeze that milk."
We didn't do a box office ranking thing yet, but here I'm just gonna do a quick one. Number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy with 346 million. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 290 million is number 2.
Shout out.
Number 3 is The Little Mermaid at 257.
Wow.
984. Fast X is 143 million. Transformers: Rise of the Beast, 107 million. Super Mario Brothers, we didn't count that, so there's that. The Flash is at 66 million. Elemental 39, Boogeyman 34, and number 10, Evil Dead Rise at 18 million.
But that
that didn't count either. Yeah.
But I'm glad that movie made money.
Yeah.
Shout out.
That's my second favorite movie of the year. So
I just do it for fun.
Is it really?
It's fight.
Crazy. Great. I think we did it right. We talked about the Flash. It was a fun time.
That was great.
It was good.
Yeah. If you guys didn't have anything of what we're into, we really don't have to do what we're into.
I really want to, but I do have to get going because I have to kind of.
Yes.
I gotta get. I gotta go.
We're gonna make this our quickest episode in honor of the fastest man alive. The Flash. So next week we'll come back. We're gonna talk about, guys. I forgot that. I know Ed and me will talk about Asteroid City because Asteroid City will be coming out everywhere in hiccups everywhere in America on the 23rd. But also I forget that Secret Invasion, which is a Disney Plus Marvel series, I was actually pretty interested in. Comes out today. Why are you shaking your head? You're not going to watch it?
I respectfully to all these properties, I think I'm over Disney Plus TV shows.
Well, guess what? We're going to talk about Secret Invasion next week, and so just Ed had to watch The Flash. You're gonna have to watch Secret Invasion.
Okay, if that's how we're gonna play it, sure, I don't mind putting in my dues. Okay,
we're gonna put in our dues. We're gonna see how this goes.
What are we gonna talk about otherwise?
I don't give a fuck.
Well,
The
you know,
Secret
me and
Invasion actually looks good though. I thought, yeah.
I haven't watched any trailers, so I don't know.
You haven't watched any trailers? We've been putting 3 trailers in these episodes.
Talking about it.
Yeah,
like.
I've showcased so many trailers of this thing.
No, I just log in whenever you tell me to, and then talk, and then I log off.
This is my last hub. Secret Invasion. You're my only hope. We'll see.
New hope. Louis.
We'll see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right. My new hope. But yeah. But till next time. It's been me, Louis G, and with me's been
Miggy Smalls. I don't remember.
And Edward Cornelius Ball.
And until next time, good day, gentlemen.
No, do the. That's good. That was good.